Hello, check, check, sound check. It's been so long since I've gone live. I think it's been like 3 days. Feels like forever. How's my sound? How's my lighting? It looks like my lighting is all wackadoodle. You will notice, if you're a regular viewer, that everything has changed, right? And it's funny how when you turn on your thing to go live, it like literally flips everything over. So like this is my right, but when I'm looking at it, it's on the left. It gets very confusing. Oh, the problems of being a content creator. So everything is completely different, right? And it seems like the lighting is really bizarre. Does it seem bizarre to you guys? This side seems too green, doesn't it? Where's my little remote control? Let me see if I can do something about the excessive green. Is that better? No, that's terrible. Let's see. Try red. It just changes constantly. It's so hard. Help. All right, Anna Bees is here. What the F is going on with my lighting, girl? I need you. It's out of control. Like, I look all blue and green, don't I? Oh, because this one changed. No, you're not supposed to change. Stop. Okay. Is that better? It looks blue. See, I've got my little remote, and like now it's green. What if I don't want you blue? Maybe I'll just have to turn that one off. It's like it's doing its own thing. It's having a mind of its own. It's like doing different colors. Is it okay? I don't want to like obsess on my lighting because it's really not that important. Just so long as it's not distracting. It's still a little bit blue, isn't it? What can I do? I feel like a Johnny Cash song. What can I do? What can I do? The Man Named Sue. Put a little red light over there. As always, is that okay? You look good as usual. You're so sweet. You're just like, get started, girl. I know I've missed you. I've missed my people. Man, it's just been so effing crazy. I have a theory. Let me say that everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of hoping to start a conversation, open up a discussion, learn something, be educational. All of my videos are made for the tube of you and me, and it's an infotainment platform. I have it on live chat. Everybody make sure you have it on live chat, or you might miss some of the chat because it like defaults to top chat, which is so stupid. Make sure you're still subscribed. If you are subscribed, share a video of mine with somebody that you think will like my channel. Turn on your notification bell to ring. And one more thing, and then I'll tell you my theory if I can still remember it. Hit that like button. And I will apologize for my effing braces. Only 11 more months, right? So yeah, the last time I made a video, I think was before Saturday. I think it was Friday. So then it's Wednesday. Is that right? See, this is what happens if I skip a day. Has it been that many days? Or did I do one on Sunday? I probably did one on Sunday. So it's just been like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I can't keep track. I feel, this is my theory. I feel like our whole country is just like in this vice grip. Whether you despise this douchebag that gave the State of the Union address last night as much as I do, or half as much as I do, which is still a lot, or not at all, he's so obsessed with media and media attention and headlines that like we're like in this time compression. I think it's really hard for anybody to deal with time. Like you guys were talking about it in my chat the other night, Anna Bees, and you were like totally confusing me. I had no idea what you were talking about. You were talking about like in 2012. I think Billy Darling was talking about it. So we've got Christine Herman. Hello. I'm sorry that my coloring is so bizarre. I think I have to do something about it. It just keeps changing. And this is like a new setup. I moved my chair from the corner to kind of the middle of the room because I was like feeling like I was stuck in the corner. And I'm not a dunce. I'm not a bad kid, really. And then I like to have it point down a little bit more. So anyway, yeah, I'm trying to like simplify my life, simplify my sets. You know, I've got my yoga studio next door, and then this is my studio for these discussions. And, you know, I get to take care of my grandson all day tomorrow. Can you believe it? He's not even 1 yet, and he just learned how to walk a couple days ago. So I haven't seen him since he's been walking. I'm so excited. I get to be grandma for a day and crushed under the responsibility. No, it seems like it was just yesterday that I was having my own. So maybe I won't forget how to do things. My youngest is 14 right now. My oldest is about to be 24. Yeah, I think I did do a video on Sunday or Monday. I think I did one since the weekend because I remember talking about the weekend in Cincinnati. Saturday was in Cincinnati. We went to this really cool arboretum in like the fanciest part of Cincinnati, which is called the Village of Indian Hills. The Village of Indian Hill. It's a phenomenal area with just giant estates and mansions, and it's very wooded and like at the top of one of the mountains or hills. I mean, Cincinnati is very hilly. Columbus is real flat, not a hill in sight. So it's like all farmland. But Cincinnati is right by the river, of course. And the arboretum called Row Arboretum, I've been by it a million times and I've always wanted to go there. When we finally went, and it was really nice. And then we went out for burgers at this burger joint that had like the best fries in the world. So that was fun, being all big city and everything, being the mom, you know, taking the kid and her boyfriend out for burgers, paying for everybody, you know, like a good mom does, right? A fun age. Okay, so let me read all your stuff. I've been staying away from politics. I've been watching Everest videos, Mount Everest, and then there's the Olympics too. Yeah, the politics are just toxic. I've been kind of, you know, I like to keep my thumb on the pulse, but I also don't want to make myself so sick of it. And then there's, you know, the whole thing with the Trumpstein files. So what's the most important thing for me to say about the Trumpstein files in this very moment? Which one thing is that apparently there's some emails about red rumming RFK Jr.'s not really ex-wife, because they weren't divorced. They were in the middle of a divorce when she offed herself, when she was Epsteined. And she was Epsteined in the exact same way that Virginia Giuffre was Epsteined. So when I learned about Mary Richardson in 2012, I was already aware of Virginia Giuffre. And it was like, it was a replica. So just because there's like 13 years in between, you still can't do replica crimes because there's so many variables in real life. You're not going to have replicas unless you have a playbook. So they have a playbook, and like right down to like that both Virginia Giuffre and Mary Richardson Kennedy, they were both in the middle of a divorce. Um, they both were on large ranch estates alone, allegedly. And I want to say Mary Richardson, was she like 42 when it happened? I can't remember. She might have been older. Um, but she got together with RFK Jr. when she was 15, allegedly. So he was like 21, I think, and she was his little sister's friend. So if they did consummate their relationship and she was 15 and he was 21, then that's statutory. He went and married someone else, but it's my opinion that they carried on their affair all the way through. He divorced that other person and then he married Mary Richardson Kennedy, and then they had 4 kids. And then I think they were married, I want to say 12 years, but it was 2012 when they were going through a very contentious divorce. And I mean, what divorce isn't contentious, right? I love it when they say, oh, it's all amicable. It's like, well, define amicable. Is that like not abstaining each other? I mean, seriously, relationships are hard. Breakups are even harder. Um, but so, I felt like the thing with Mary Richardson was very obvious to me without it being in an Epstein file. But what's so outrageous is all the different parties that knew about it. So that's a big deal. Oh, there's a lot of big deals. The whole thing with whoops, all caps, WHOOPS exclamation point. Are you guys familiar with this? Every time little e typed oops in an email, it meant that somebody had bought the farm. It meant that he had Epstein somebody. Whoops. Like, that's just freaking nuts. And there's a lot of whoops. Like, I don't know if anybody's counted how many times. Let's ask AI and see if AI knows. Have you guys heard of that? Yeah, you know about whoops. Okay, divorce is very ugly. Divorce is just hard. I mean, it's really hard. I wonder how many times has whoops been discovered in the Epstein files? More than 300 times. That's a lot of people. And that's just in the files that have been released. No, so this one says in the most recent releases of his communication, the term whoops has been discovered more than 400 times. According to Vanity Fair, some sources specify 316 incidences. And this is what AI says. Death notifications. The frequent use of the word by Epstein has drawn significant scrutiny due to its casual and often chilling context in his emails. He used whoops as a response to learning about several deaths, including those of Mary Kennedy, estranged wife of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Right, that's the word, that estranged. I knew that. And Stephen Elkman, a Deutsche Bank managing director. Violent context. In one exchange, she replied, whoops, after receiving permission to kill a redacted individual who had allegedly lied to him. The word appeared in his responses to reports of the alleged rape of a young woman. He also used it when learning of the passing of the Sultan bin Sulayman's mother-in-law, and in a mocking reference to a young girl's religious faith. Additionally, the term whoops has circulated in relation to Whoopi Goldberg, whose name appeared in the files regarding a rejected request to use EaseJet. Social media users have mockingly referred to her as Whoops in response to this revelation. It's just so sad. Ugh, it's so disgusting. I've got some ice water and I've got the fan on me, and I just need to chill. So it's really nice to see you guys. Like, seriously, I missed you so much. More than anything, I was coming on live just to say hello. So, hi. But I do have a ton of notes. So let me look at them too. Married second, it will be 50 years next year. Wow. You know, Christine, I like one way of looking at, like, your first marriage is like your starter marriage. It's like your trial marriage. And second marriages, you know, marriages in general have like a 50% divorce rate, but second marriages have a very low divorce rate. So congratulations. That's awesome. Yeah, my husband and I have been married for a long time, but not that long. I think 30. We got married in 92. So 33 and a half years. That's a lot. That's a lot. And relationships are hard. Marriages are hard, but they are rewarding, huh? Too many pages. Oh, okay. I got to play this Kimmel clip. This was like the most important thing for me to do. And I meant to cue it up. So I apologize that I haven't queued it up yet, but let's see if I can get it queued up quickly with my history, because I did write down where to queue it up. And then Kimmel. Was it this one? Yeah, I think this is it. It's had almost 5 million views, and it's just like 24 hours old. Good for him. He has over 20 million YouTube subscribers. Okay, so it is about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes in, and I'm just going to play it. Here we go.
Washington delivered the first one back in 1790.
Mr. Speaker, I present the inaugural recipient of the 2026 FIFA Peace Prize, the rightful winner of the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize, the undisputed champion of beautiful clean coal, the chairman of the Trump Kennedy Center, chairman of the Trump Board of Peace, semi-finalist for the Carl Jr. Presidential Fitness Award, Captain Kangaroo. He doesn't wear diapers, and he had no idea his best friend was a pedophile. President Donald J. Trump.
He doesn't wear diapers, and he definitely didn't know his best friend was a pedo. Is that so funny? Should I play it again? Let's see. 2 minutes 30 seconds. So it's the introduction, the mock introduction for last night's event.
Mr. Speaker, I present the inaugural recipient of the 2026 FIFA Peace Prize, the rightful winner of the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize, the undisputed champion of beautiful clean coal, the chairman of the Trump Kennedy Center, chairman of the Trump Board of Peace, semi-finalist for the Carl Jr. Presidential Fitness Award, Captain Kangaroo. He doesn't wear diapers, and he had no idea his best friend was a pedophile. President Donald J. Trump.
Unbelievable. It's good to have a little humor, isn't it? So yeah, congratulations, Christine, on your 50 years next year. So 49 years. That's incredible. And we would have been married 40 years, almost 41 in March, and together 43. Wow, Annabise. You got together even younger than I did then, huh? Because you're just a handful of years older than me. I got married, I think I was 25, I think. It might have been right before I turned 25. And I think we met when I was 23. Or I was 22 when we met. My husband had just turned 21, and I'm just slightly over a year older than him. So he had just turned 21 when we met, and I was 22. So crazy, isn't it? We were babies. But when he passed, it was 28 years married and 31 years together. Oh, my dear. And it was so sudden and unexpected. Wasn't he like 50? Was he 56 when it happened? Remind me how old he was. Sorry to hear that, Anna. Yeah, I know. That is so hard. It's so stressful. So last night at the presidential bullcrap that I tried to not watch any of it. I've seen a couple of clips in some videos, but I've really tried to stay away from it. But I watched an interview with Katie Couric interviewing Jess Michaels, who was one of the early grape victims of Little E. I think she was raped by him in 1991. She was not underage. She was in her early 20s. But it was horribly traumatic. It doesn't matter. I mean, grape is grape. Horribly traumatic. And she spent her entire life, I think, in therapy and working with victims. And she's very well-spoken. She does TED Talks. She's a great businesswoman. She was a dancer. She was a professional dancer at the time, and she was very successful in New York City. And he pretty much ruined her life, but she's rebuilt it. Anyway, she told Katie Couric that the victims were all planned and assigned to sit together at the State of the Union, that they wanted to be there. They wanted to stare him down. Sorry for kicking my stand there. Jess was like, I wanted to be staring right at him. And then she got a seat assignment and she showed her ticket. And on the ticket, it said step 2. She was literally assigned to sit on a step. And they literally divided all of the victims so that none of them were sitting together, which is just your classic abuser to isolate the victim so that they have no support, so that they're easier to control and manipulate. But the I keep saying victims, I'm sorry, survivors. The survivors did end up, some of them, finding some seats together. But what a effing jack off to do that. And not shocking at all, is it? I mean, so effing petty. And what a small person that he can't face these people. I was 19 when we got together. I was 20, almost 21 when we got married. We were married March of 85. See, that's when I graduated high school, was 85. And then I got married in 92. Yes, he was 56 years old. He was 8 years older than me. Aww. That is just crazy. That is so young. So we've had 2 arrests in the UK. We've had um, Mendelsohn and then another guy. And so I guess the way they arrest in the UK is that they book them and then they release them, it sounds like. But they're still technically under arrest, even though wasn't there a third one? Because obviously we have Andrew and then Mendelsohn. Wasn't there a third one? I think there was. Let me see. Um, how many arrests have there been in the UK due to the Epstein files? Maybe it's just the 2. I thought there was a third one. Maybe it's just the people that have stepped down. Yeah, it's just Mendelsohn and Andrew. Both men released on bail pending further investigation. Neither has been formally charged. And so their police are reportedly examining the evidence from the 3 million pages of documents released by the DOJ to determine if other crimes, such as human transporting, occurred on British soil, which it did. So I guess Virginia was ordered up by Andrew out of a catalog, basically. Like they showed him a lineup of potential victims and he chose her. And obviously her abuse was so traumatizing for so many reasons, and she was abused so many times by so many people. But my opinion is that when she was abused by Andrew, that really brought her to a psychological break, almost like a true it destroyed her. She grew up reading Cinderella, like that was her favorite book. She read it hundreds of times. And then here she gets to meet a prince when she's 17. She gets abused by the prince. And I think that the bottom really dropped out for her. Like some of the wording that she would use in her book was like that she felt hollowed out, like she felt like she'd been scooped out, like her insides after an incident like that. And the first time was bad enough. She did get well compensated, but that's aside the point. I think it was $15,000 cash the next day, which is, again, so terrible because money is meaningless and worthless in a situation like that, in my opinion. But it gives incentive. So, there were at least 2 other times that he ordered her up and she was compensated like that and felt essentially like the rug had been pulled out from underneath her. And she doesn't describe that in her book, that it was because he was a prince and that like shattered her psyche. That's my opinion. Because, we all of us women have kind of grown up with that like Cinderella complex to some extent. But for her, that was her favorite book. And then she actually meets a prince. And then she doesn't get the magic slipper and live happily ever after now, does she? Not at all. This was funny. I wrote a note. Sorry to switch gears like this, but sometimes that's good. JD Vance being referred to as the Pillsbury Proud Boy. And Al Green, so he's I think he's in the House of Representatives, Texas. I think he's a Texas representative, like the 8th district or something. He held up a sign, and he's black. He held up a sign last night, like a protest poster that said something like, "Black people are not apes," basically. I mean, it was really simple. I think it was just 4 words: "Black people aren't apes." And it was just like a white poster board with large black handwritten letters. And so he talked about it a lot. He got escorted out of the presentation, and the quote that I wrote down that he said in an interview is that everybody knows that the president and I haven't been exchanging Christmas cards lately. I just thought that was the cutest way to phrase it. Don't you guys think that's adorable? I wish someone would have held up a sign that said pedo. Yes. Can't write that on YouTube. Good job. Yeah. It's okay, Christine. I have healed a lot. It's been 13 and a half years. Oh, and that's just not a lot of time. I mean, like my youngest that's 14, it seems like she was just born yesterday. I mean, seriously, she was just a little toddler a day ago. The same age that the little munchkin is now. I watched just to hear his BS and was not disappointed. Oh, did you watch the whole thing? OMG. I think I would have rather stuck needles in my eyes. Oh, man. But that's very, very bold and brazen of you to subject yourself to that pain and suffering. Time does go very fast. Well, that's the thing that some people were talking about in the chat last week that just went right over my head. I had no idea what you guys were talking about. Something about, I think it was the year 2012 that something happened in like the warp time space quantum physics something or another. I don't know. Do you remember, Annabise? Were you a party to that? I was going to try to rewatch that video, but like I've confessed, I haven't been reviewing my videos lately. I've just been too busy and just too interested in too many other videos. But I'll try to torture myself with watching so that I can find that one and reread what you guys were saying in the chat, because it was fascinating. I just was clueless. Like, and you guys were all chatting about it, and it seemed extremely interesting. Okay. He is such a disgusting creep, and little T and little E and all of them. Yeah, they're all gross. I mean, how is he in the office of the president's? How's he in the presidency? I just don't understand. Except, BB and Daddy Vladdy and Starlink and billionaires lying and cheating and stealing. But it's a joke. It's atrocious. It's out of control. And then just all this stupidity. And then like the thing with Nancy Guthrie. It's like, why is it that so many people see clearly the connections with the E-files, the Trumpstein files, and Nancy Guthrie being abducted? And then there's like half of the people that don't see that at all, that they're just like, oh, so what? What does that have to do with anything? It's effing nuts. And then one of the last things that he said about it, and I think I already mentioned it in one of my videos, when he was asked about it on Air Force One, he was asked like what his thoughts were about the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. And he said, "Oh, that, don't talk about that. Talk about something else." Um, there was another, it was just unbelievable. Don't talk about that. Talk about something else. Oh, then that's what it was. I'm so glad I remembered. I have to give myself a second. Don't talk about that. Talk about something else. And then he literally said, "I got to go." And he ran away. And what's even more interesting is most of the clips that I've seen of that little interview, of that question answer, they clip it before he bolts. So you don't see that he literally freaking ran away. Could he be more obvious? To me, he couldn't be more obvious. He couldn't be. And then that thing with Tim Miller on the Bulwark that I showed you guys, that I made a big deal about a couple weeks ago, where Tim was just kind of talking about stuff and just said, Savannah Guthrie's mother missing. And he was basically directing it towards the guilty party and implying that it was the Donald. Yes, the whole damn thing. I did not watch any of it, and I'm glad. Man, Christine, you deserve a gold medal for that. Seriously. You're like an Olympic star. CERN in Switzerland. Thank you, Annabee. So there was a third. He just isn't in the UK. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're so smart. I had Girl Scout cookies in my recliner, laughed and booed at all his lies. Oh, that's hilarious. What kind of Girl Scout cookies? Like the Thin Mints or the, what are those peanut butter ones? Those are really good. All the Girl Scout cookies are good, huh? They discovered the God particle. Ah! They did an experiment and probably changed our timeline. Who they? Damn. Should I write this down? Because I'm going to forget. They discovered the God particle. Holy crap. They did an experiment and probably changed our timeline. What does Google have to say about this? And Anna just sent me something. Let's see. What did Anna send? The Higgs boson, a fundamental particle discovered by CERN scientists. Oh, see, I thought you were talking about somebody else that got arrested for the Trumpstein files. I'm so out of it. Okay. CERN scientists in 2012, I was right about the year, using the Large Hadron Collider, LHC. It is essential to the standard model of physics because it arises from a field that gives mass to other subatomic particles. Its detection confirmed how particles acquire mass, allowing the formation of atoms. This is melting my brain. This video explains how the Higgs boson was discovered at CERN. Should I play the video? Peanut butter patties, those are some of the best. LOL, Christine, you are a warrior. That was disgusting out of him. Dang it, Nancy. Hello. Good evening, Jazz and chat. The new Dare shirt, Democrats and Republicans. I don't know what the Dare shirt is. Peanut butter patties, yum. Everything shady is in Switzerland. But it's so pretty there. I just sent you part of the article. Hi, Nance, like ranch. That's funny, Nance. Girl Scout cookies are $8 a box now, but I still bought 4. That's crazy, man. Everything's so expensive, huh? I'll send you the video. That was just a screenshot. Okay, I was gonna like try to play the screenshot, Anna. Thank you. I'm glad I didn't. So that is wild. The I still want to Google the God particle. They're $6 a box here, Christine says. What is the God particle that was discovered in 2012? Wow. That's crazy. That's what you sent me was the AI overview, right? Scientists at the CERN laboratory in Switzerland announced the discovery on July 4th of 2012. It was found using the LHC, the world's most powerful particle accelerator, which smashed protons together at nearly the speed of light to catch a glimpse of the particle's brief existence. Its discovery confirmed the existence of the Higgs field, an invisible energy field that permeates the entire universe. Particles like electrons and quarks gain mass by interacting with this field, while others like photons, light, do not and remain massless. Peter Higgs and Francois Englert received the 2013 Nobel Peace Prize in Physics for theorizing the particle back in 1964. Well, shouldn't they be giving that Peace Prize to you-know-who? Why is it called the God particle? The name was popularized in the 93 book, The God Particle by Nobel laureate Leon Lederman. Originally wanted to call it the goddamn particle because it was so frustratingly difficult to find, but his publisher changed it to the God particle for marketing reasons. Scientific dislike. Most physics, including Peter Higgs himself, dislike the nickname because it has no religious connection and can be misleading. Yeah, it is very misleading. How would you like to know more about? Wow. So it messed with our time warp something? Is that what happened? And then time has been sped up ever since. Let's see. One more question. Has time been sped up since the God particle was discovered in 2012? What do you guys think? Just sent the video. Yeah, I'll check it out. I'm in Southeast Wisconsin. Where are you at, Nancy? Oh, Wisconsin is so pretty. And Patricia says, thanks for the text. Had to go cover all my freshly planted fruit trees. Are you guys getting snow or something or freeze? Didn't buy any Girl Scout cookies. Drug abuse resistance education. Nancy Reagan came out with the DARE program. Just say no to drugs. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that that's the DARE that you were talking about. Thank you, dear. Probably need to ask Chat GPT. So my mom and husband passed in 2012, but my first grandchild was born in 2012. Wow, that's wild. There's no scientific evidence that the fundamental physical passage of time has sped up since the God particle discovery. While some theories and anecdotal Mandela effect reports suggest a shift, scientists attribute the feeling of accelerated time to psychological factors, information overload, and aging. I think they're lying. So it says time has not sped up, but that's just part of the gaslighting. Oh, I had a really good quote about gaslighting in here. Let me see if I can find it. It was so funny. Um, I hope I can find it because I don't think I can remember it. Let's see. Did you know that Leslie Wexner went to Marla Maples and Biggly Piggly's wedding? Yes, he did. Oh, I don't know that I'll be able to find it. It's so funny. Oh, I found it. If you thought SANE washing used to be called gaslighting, you're probably crazy. Did I do it well enough? If you thought SANE washing used to be called gaslighting, you're probably crazy. That's a great quote, is it not? So, did you guys notice that? I think it was the day before yesterday. Biggly Piggly was basically wearing a purple tie, purple-ish, and his background was also purplish, and it reminded me of like the purple dress that PR woman wore in the Kylie Rodney case. So I just I don't know that much about it. Now I sound like him. I don't know anything about it. Hold on. No, I really don't know that much about the whole thing with purple. I remember other people talking about it, so I looked it up. And of course, it's like the color of royalty and like wisdom and stuff like that, and celebration. So is that like they bust out their purple stuff when they feel like they've won, basically? Like it's over? I don't know. But I thought it was weird that he had changed to that color because he always has the red tie, and sometimes he's had a gold tie lately. I think sometimes a dark blue tie. I like the yellow tie. I mean, even though it's on him, which I don't like anything about him. But yeah, I just thought that the purple was an odd choice, and I figured something was up. I don't know. I do not know. Um, Angela M. I'm in Texas. It was 80 degrees today. Dang it, Nancy. Um, yeah, Angela, thank you, Anna B. You got such a good memory. They say the red tie is the real one and the blue tie is the fake. Oh, that's hilarious. Like the body double. Ugh. I hate his long red tie. I think it's so absurd and obscene looking. It's like it hangs down over his junk, man. It's ridiculous. It's gross. And it's almost like he thinks it's slenderizing or something, makes him look less fat. I don't know. It's just stupid. It's really tacky. Priests wear purple during Lent, or maybe just in the Holy Week before Easter. Maybe they should overthrow the whole government at this point. That whole thing with that Second Amendment, Section 4, if I have that right, that's where we can get rid of all of them. Second Amendment, Section 4. No, I think it's Second Amendment, fourth article. No, that's not it. Let me ask it this way. Aside from the 25th Amendment, how can the president get ousted aside from the 25th Amendment and impeachment? How can the president get out of office? Because both of those, impeachment or the 25th Amendment, would give us Vance, which wouldn't be any better. Let's see. This is not answering my question correctly. Wasn't it like Section 2, Article 4, something like that? Section 3 of the 14th Amendment can bar an individual holding office. No, that was like to keep him out to begin with. Do you remember? Anyway. Section 2, Article 4, treason of the president. Yes, Article 4, Section 2, Constitution annotation. That's what it is. So there's a lot written about it. So let me see what AI has to say about it. I grew up Catholic. My uncle's a priest. Then I heard the whole mess is like a ritual when you think how we repeat certain prayers, etc. Well, yes, and kind of like OCD too, in some senses, I think. It's a lot of repetition. I like the repetitive prayer. I find it calming. I know. I like repetition. I don't mind repetition at all. So, Jazzy, did you watch any of the State of the Union? If so, what's your take on his very long speech? I watched as little of it as possible, and I just think the whole thing was atrocious. Even though I didn't watch it, I know it was atrocious. He just speaks so bigly, and you know, he just said a lot of stupid things. I mean, I've watched quite a few videos of people talking about it and showing clips, and you know, just insulting. He was very insulting to Americans and obviously to Democrats. And you know, he didn't say anything about the freaking Trumpstein files, of course. But thanks for asking. You're hurting my brain with all the sections and articles. Did anybody on this live watch the State of the Union? Yes. Christine Herman, I think, said she did, right? Yes, Patricia, I did. And the incense. Love the smell of incense the Catholics use in services. The frankincense and myrrh, frankincense and myrrh, those are my favorite. I used to burn those a lot. So in the U.S. Constitution, the terms you mentioned appear in different sections, depending on whether you are looking for the grounds for impeachment or the extradition of fugitives. Okay, so Article 2, Section 4, impeachment. This clause dictates that the president, vice president, and civil officers shall be removed upon conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors, establishing treason as a specific narrow ground for removal. Well, haven't they done all of those? Like, seriously. I mean, treason with Daddy Vladdy, with Bibi, bribery every which way. It's insane. Clause 2 stipulates that any person charged with treason, felony, or other crime who flees to another state must be delivered back to the state with jurisdiction. This extradition clause prevents states from becoming safe havens for criminals. The definition of treason, defined as levying war against the U.S. or giving aid and comfort to enemies, is located in Article 3, Section 3. Conviction requires 2 witnesses to the overt act or a confession in open court. Well, the war against the U.S., hasn't that been flagrant? Okay, that's enough of that. And let's see, we're just getting towards an hour. What did you think, Christine? Same heads of the Hydra. Christine, in 3 words, what did you get out of Trump's speech? Oh, Billy, hello, my dear. We were just talking about you. Were your ears burning? We were talking about that whole thing with the God particle that you guys were talking about a week or so ago. We were looking it up and everything, trying to wrap our little low IQ brains around it. I was talking to a certain chat AI about the GH negative blood. It cussed me out and called me a murderous bee because we can't carry RH negative baby without a Rogam shot. I was shocked beyond belief. Yeah, that stuff's always confused me, the RH negative. Hey, yes, ears burning. So lovely to see you, my dear. Thanks for coming in. He recited all the wins he had and never gave us a clue on how he's going to fix our country. Granted, all lies on all the wins. A recital of his BS, a waste of my time. Yeah. Well, and just the whole thing with the women's hockey team winning gold and then the men's hockey team winning gold, and then Kash Patel partying with the men's team, and so let's talk about Kopaka for a minute. Remember Kopaka? Brent Kopaka in the Idaho 4 case? Remember he had written the coordinates of Bohemian Grove on his social media? Is that just random? Is that just a coincidence that he had the coordinates of Bohemian Grove? Or was he trying to, I don't know, give a clue about Bohemian Grove? That whole thing with Kopaka was effing crazy. That whole thing with Kopaka was nuts. And I don't know, Bohemian Grove seems like a branch of Pedo Island, doesn't it? Jazz, darling, did you see the link for the e-files? I did not see that link. Is that for all of them? Is that for the 3 million? Dare I touch it? Thanks. Good take, Christine. Hey, Nancy. I think Kash Patel's girl is a honeypot or a beard. Yeah. Oh, he's so gross. Should I don't know if this hyperlink will work. I'm going to touch it and hopefully it won't screw up the live. Let's see. But I don't know, it's not working, but I'll check it out. he had one of the statues on his creepy island. Oh, did he? Well, remember just that whole weird like temple with the like pharaoh blue and white stripes and the gold dome that then came off in a hurricane. That temple, I always got the creeps from it and figured that it was like an entrance to a tunnel system, and that they did some of the like slave trading there and some rituals. I mean, like just like around the swimming pool, with the cabanas around the swimming pool, that was extra creepy too. And then those pathways from the swimming pool area down to the shoreline, also super creepy. Like, I just feel like you can almost see what's not there. I mean, do you know what I'm talking about? Ugh. Like, it's so obvious. It's so obvious. It's so creepy. And then, like, what is up with that weird owl thing at the Bohemian Grove? Is that the statue that you're talking about? Or are you talking about the statue of, like, it is sort of like an Olympic kind of looking guy right there by the pool, right in the area that I was just talking about? Yeah, the beef jerky. Okay, let's get there. Let's talk about that. That is insane. Because yeah, that's the only statue I remember is that one of the man that is right by the swimming pool. Um, let's see. It was in the temple. They in the Canaanite gods. What is up with the beef jerky? Yeah, we don't even want to know what's up with the beef jerky. I mean, it's not beef in my opinion, but yeah, we can talk about that again. Um, I think it is possible that Bohemian Grove was related to the island. Oh yeah, that it's like a pipeline between the two, right? Search jerky in that link. Ooh, but is that? I don't think that link is working. Do you want to email it to me, Billy? Do you know my email, JusticeAtooZ @gmail.com? Do you mind emailing me the link? Because I don't think it's going to work. It doesn't look like it's hooked up to be a hyperlink, but I can try it. Oh, wait. No, it is. It is working. Um, huh. How many emails are there? Okay, so you just want me to search jerky? I don't know. I'll go back to that later. I don't want to mess up my live stream by having too many screens open. Thank you, dear. Um, they in the Canaanites. Did you mean um, cannibals? Or I don't know what Canaanite gods is. Um, I think it is possible that the Bohemian Grove search jerky. I think jerky means long pig. Absolutely. I think jerky means long pig. Long pig is quite a thing. I did watch that movie that you recommended, Anna, the menu. Yeah, that was creepy. And you said you watched the one that I had recommended, the What You Wish For. Was that beyond creepy? All these secret male dominated societies are a bunch of PDFs freaks into money. Agreed, Annabes. No, the Bohemian Grove statue, he had one in the temple. Like that weird owl thing. Let me see if I can Google that. statue on Epstein Island in the temple. Oh, yeah. Super creepy. So, on the temple, too. Um, but what about that one that's by the pool? Oh, and then the faces on the wall, the walls in the room with the dentist chair. Like, that's really disgusting. That's super creepy. So, yeah. Let's see the statue by the pool. The statue by the pool on Epstein Island. So it's like it's a hunter, and maybe that has more to do with like hunting people. So that's the one that's by the pool. But then those like paper mache faces on those walls, really weird. Um So this is kind of cool because it is doing like a 360 around that statue by the pool. Kind of interesting. Anyway. Lots of weird crap, man. And then that freaking deposition with Les Wex in Ohio. That 5 hour. Yeah, so I haven't watched the entire 5 hours. I think I've watched about 2 hours of it. But it's actually really good. I wanna watch the rest of it. Um Good, I mean interesting. It's disgusting and it's insane and it's again very insulting. Like he's just he's gamey. He just thinks he's so smart, but he's just freaking squirrely and he's a scumbag. And I never thought I'll get caught up with your chat in a second. I never thought he would be deposed in a million years, and I'm so glad that he was. And I never thought the freaking Trumpstein files would be released in a million years. I'm really glad to be wrong. I was saying that in my last video. Like, there are times when I am completely wrong, and there's times when I pray that I'm completely wrong. So I'm really glad that I was wrong about both of those things. I am delighted to be proven wrong sometimes. Situations like that, it's like, please prove me wrong. So glad that I was proven wrong. Let's see. They took black people and hunted them. Yeah, there was a lot of really insane racism. A lot of really insane racism. So disgusting to think of those babies he put in there. Sometimes I have to take a break because it's so nauseating. It is absolutely disgusting. Absolutely. Yeah, we need to take care of ourselves and give ourselves breaks from that horrible crap. Oh wow, I fell way behind. Let me get caught up. A girl gave birth 3 times when she was held captive. They would give her baby to her only to breastfeed. Then they would take the baby away all 3 times. She never saw them again. Yeah, that is really sad. That's the one who would write in like the little box code. And she didn't have Down syndrome. Did she have autism or something? She was compromised, and they really took advantage of her. But you couldn't tell she was compromised. Like, it wasn't real obvious. But and the enablers, females of Eastern Star cults, offshoots from the Freemasonry cults and the Oddfellows and the Shriners, and all in Bohemian Grove Club 2, Bohemian Club in San Francisco downtown. Ew, I lived in San Francisco. I did not stumble upon that. That is creepy AF. It's from major journalists using it. Search tool. Thank you for the search tool, dear. That's amazing. They did a facial recognition to Ghislaine in Canada. Came out exact, and the guy she was with was her brother. Well, this is what's so annoying about everything online, is like you just don't know what's true and what's not true. You don't know what's real and what's fake, and that's seems like it's the goal, is to just like mind F everyone so no one knows which way is up. That's those rich people clubs, Ghislaine with blonde hair. Yeah, I have a photograph of her with a like platinum blonde wig on that I used for a thumbnail pretty recently. KJ What's Happened and had a short video about a painting a victim did, and it shows hanging skin on a tree, obviously for the beef jerky. Whoa, I don't know who KJ is. I'm interested. Dang it, Nancy. That's so disgusting. So disgusting. It goes back decades. It goes back generations. Total trigger alert. They would starve the newborn because it would make the baby suck harder. Oh, that is really disgusting. Patricia, thank you for the trigger warning on that. Nygaard is the Canadian E, for example. Right. I'm not sure who the Canaanites are, but they are mentioned in the Bible frequently. Yeah, I have no idea. Christine, exactly. Someone called her name and she looked, and the guy she's with looks exactly like her brother. You think she'd run a little further than Canada. Well, yeah, I mean, I really think that there was a man that was sitting there in that deposition a couple weeks ago, and that she's long gone. But it was my hypothesis that they rubbed her out because she was leaking and threatening and blackmailing, coming out with the birthday letter, and she was just demanding, and she has so much dirt on so many people. The girlfriend dentist, like, why the dentist chair? Did she remove kids' teeth? Yeah, Billy, that's what they say. Again, trigger warning, that they would remove teeth for their disgusting purposes. There's loads of AI slop about the case. Beware. Yeah, absolutely. There's loads of AI slop about everything. And you know what's so funny? There was like a woman that spoke before the Trumpster fire last night, and I thought that she was AI slop. That's funny. I totally thought she was AI slop. I was like, what the F is this AI slop? And then I find out that was I mean, again, like, you just can't tell what's what. Sorry, there are actual human beings that do this. Yeah, I know, Patricia. It's insane. It's so disturbing. It's so morbid. For the rituals they do, I call them demons, whether or not they really are. Well, yeah, I mean, little e and little t are both Satan, as far as I'm concerned. There is more, but I'll leave it at that for now. Nicole Kidman's father was charged for human hunting Ben. He mysteriously passed. Yeah, right. Um, yeah, there's so many people dropping like flies. No loving God would want you to harm a helpless child. I know. I'm so glad Jennifer never got pregnant from them. Jennifer, Virginia Gouffre. Yeah, again, that was another breaking point for her when they proposed to her for her to be a surrogate for Jiz and E. That was when she came up with a plan to get away. And then, um, she kind of hatched a plan where she said, okay, send me to massage therapy school. And then after that, we'll do the baby thing. And then when she went, she wasn't expecting them to send her like to Thailand. She thought that they would send her like to a place in Florida. And then when she was in Thailand, and she met her future husband, she decided she was never going back. But, you know, that's not allowed. And they paid a lot of money for her to go to that school. And I don't know. I mean, it's weird how it all happened. It's weird that Robbie, the guy she married, is a mix. He was a professional mixed martial arts fighter, which is the whole thing that um, that Biggly Piggly is into, like what he wants to have on the front lawn of the White House for his 80th birthday party. I mean, the 250th birthday party of our country, right? Um, so yeah, it's interesting. Like, I mean, it seems like from reading her book, it seems like the way her and Robbie met was very genuine and authentic. But he could have been sent there to swoop her off her feet and then be her handler, right? I mean, there's just no way that they would just let her go, in my opinion. Um, so let's see. WTF? It's in Nob Hill. Nob Hill, like Boston? Isn't that where Nob Hill is? Um, let's see. I'm just looking at this link that Billy sent. And I'm going to go back to the live. Where's my phone? Um, my phone. Is there like a Nob Hill in the UK? Nob Hill. Oh, San Francisco, Albuquerque, Portland. Okay, Nob Hill in San Francisco. Um, yeah. That's where me and my friend almost got mugged by a band of gypsies, was Nob Hill. We'd gone to the Stinking Rose, the garlic restaurant that's right, I think, there. Let's see. Um, What is that tower thing near there? I can't even think. My brain doesn't work. Was it like Telegraph? Coit Tower on Telegraph Hill. Yeah. Is the Stinking Rose still there? Stinking Rose restaurant in San Francisco? Well, there's one in Los Angeles, but no, I wonder if there's one in San Francisco still. It's an Italian restaurant, and yes, I think it's still there. Maybe. Okay, I'm going to set that down and focus on what you guys are saying and get caught up. Nicole's father would do for mentioned. I don't care what religion they pretending to be, but in the background they doing this BS. Yeah, it's gross. It's really insane. Goes back to Europe, goes back to the Eastern Mediterranean and Black Sea. KJ is he's a truther since 2012. I have no idea who KJ is. If you want to fill me in on that, dang it, Nancy. It was absolutely a man, but I think they did a swab like they did with E, in my opinion. No, that was the purpose of the freaking dental chair. I don't know if, I mean, when I came across that information, it kind of made sense. I mean, I know that little E liked to whiten the girl's teeth because, he's a very superficial guy. And we know he liked to pay for braces for a lot of the kids that he abused. And then, people are going to have dental problems. So it kind of made sense to me that there would be a dental office on the island. But then when I heard that they would pull the teeth of the victims, it made sense. These are disgusting people. Absolutely disgusting people. Jazz, let's go on tour and hunters down. Go on a tour. Jazz is the bounty hunter. Yes, Billy. What you're saying is true. They have been doing this for centuries. So the kids wouldn't bite as hard. So gross. So gross. Yes, Virginia. Why do I always call her Jennifer? Well, she did go by Jenny, I think, right? So Jennifer, Virginia, I mean, that's I think I think she went by Jenny or Jenny. Rest in peace. We love you. We hope she's looking after Kylie Rodney. I am just not convinced that Kylie wasn't stolen for handmade crap. I'm not convinced about that with the Idaho 4 either. I'm just not convinced. I mean, it's ridiculous how much effery is going on with these things. Now, Nob Hill, like 10 miles from me. Who is the little boy with the man in a pic in the files where both of them are painted like the background? I do not know, Anna Bees. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Just came in. Sheriff's trying to shut down Guthrie YouTubers. Well, I think the sheriff is in on it with Biggly Piggly. honestly. I think of that Sheriff Chris Nanos, much like Shannon Moon and um, that who was that guy Wu, Sheriff Wu, Stephen Wu. Um, the guy who was the sheriff of Placer County. So that guy had been sworn in to be the sheriff of Placer County like 6 days before Kylie went missing, maybe 7 days before Kylie went missing. Wayne Wu, right? Wayne Wu. Um, when was Sheriff Wayne Wu sworn in to be the sheriff of Placer County? Tuesday, July 26th. So 10 days before. 10 days before. And then in the Idaho 4 case, Sheriff or Police Chief James Fry's wife, Julie Fry, had just been elected to be the clerk of courts like 5 days before the Idaho 4 happened, because it was like November 7th, I think, and then Idaho 4 was November 13th. I mean, these things are very significant, in my opinion. The changing of the guards, and then these horrible crimes that happen immediately. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all that the sheriff's trying to shut down the Guthrie YouTubers. And you got to give it to people like Brian Enton and JLR that have been out there for a freaking month, like day after day after day. They both probably showed up thinking that they'd be there for a couple of days, maybe a week. I mean, more power to them. Seriously, that's some true grit. Nob Hill ends in San Francisco Bay, thanks Billy. Bohemian Club in Nob Hill on Taylor Street. A band of gypsies. Funny but not funny, Jazz. Maybe the way you said it so casually. God, I love you. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. Me and my girlfriend, we'd been really good friends since like junior high school back in Southern California. And then we were both living in San Francisco, and we were both, little yuppies. We were both very successful with our stuff. I just finished graduate school. She was like working for Clorox or Burt's Bees or something like that. And we went out for dinner. We walked from her apartment to the Stinking Rose. And, when we walked there, it was light out. And we just weren't thinking, we just were being naive when we were walking back, and it was probably like 9:30. It was dark, and yeah, it was like 4 people. I remember one guy who was very tall, and I remember one woman who was very gypsy like. And then I think there were 2 other people, and I think it was probably another male and another female, and it was effed up. And we just got really lucky. Like a taxi cab came right in the nick of time and busted up the scene. And it could have been really bad. It could have been really bad. Yeah, they were doing the typical like ask for directions, and my friend was more savvy than I was. She'd been living in the city much longer, and she knew that they were full of it. But it wasn't like registering to her that they were a band of gypsies. She was just like, what the hell, but we got really lucky. It was really nerve-wracking. And then I think when we got back to her apartment, we got in my car and then drove around because we wanted to call the police and have them dealt with. Let's see where we at. But thank you for the compliment, dang it, Nancy. And yeah, it was really creepy to realize what a close brush we had with what could have been horrendous. And thank God for the taxi cab that just happened to come right up over the hill and basically kind of scared them, caught them off guard, and they ran like cockroaches when you turn on the light. That's what happened. They were cockroaches. Does Bohemian Grove still exist? Well, I guess that's a dumb question, Billy. Sneak in and do a video. I'm sure it still exists, and it's just really bizarre, isn't it? And yeah, like they're gonna keep it stocked with handmaids or victims or these people that go missing or whatever. They get into the pipeline like Natalie Holloway. Like she could still be getting trafficked. She could be a breeder, she would meet all the criteria of what they wanted to. And they also wanted super intelligent people, with their I almost said cryogenics, their eugenics, and then especially the musically inclined like Kylie. They wanted they just were very obsessed with their like evil science, weird, live forever. Like I think that's why they were doing the beef jerky, that they thought that by consuming that what it was like full of stem cells or something. I don't know. But I used a photograph from the e-files on one of my videos just like a week or so ago of a piece of beef jerky in a baggie that the FBI takes a picture of the beef jerky in a baggie and puts that in their file. They're not going to be taking pictures of beef jerky. Come on. That to me is a huge giveaway, just that they have a picture of it in their freaking file. But let me pull up the image that I'm talking about. The thumbnail from 9 days ago, and it's titled #beef jerky, #Trumpstein files. Let's see. Let me see if I can show it to you, just the picture. Yeah, here you go. You can probably tell, even on a freaking cell phone, on a computer screen, that ain't no freaking beef jerky. Have you ever seen beef jerky looking like that? That is some weird ass texture. So this is allegedly a piece of beef jerky in a baggie, in a photograph in the Trumpstein files. Why is the consistency of it all whack like that, all damaged? That ain't no beef jerky like what you buy at the gas station. Okay. Both are still there, strangely enough. There's a huge Freemasonry building and grounds for sale in downtown Oakland for $3.5 million. Well, that seems cheap for the Bay Area, right? Only $3.5 million. I very much agree about the changing of the guards. Sorry, I'm on the phone with my son. Oh, what's happened? YouTube title Epstein Illuminati Aliens explains the painting the victims painted dairy articulate. I'm really curious about this KJ. Dang it, Nancy. Is that like a content creator that just goes by KJ? KJ, what's happened? Or just the KJ Kyle Jackson 4? I'm super curious. Is it KJ What's Happened? Is that the channel that you're talking about? Yeah. Okay. Got it. I'll have to check that out. Thank you, dear. Very fascinating. Maria Farmer is the one that painted it, one of the very first victims of Epstein. She is one of the very first victims, definitely not one of the very first victims, one of the very first victims to report it. So she reported in 96. There were definitely victims in the 80s. And then there was also, like I was mentioning earlier, Jess Michaels in 91, but she didn't report, I don't think. And then there was a woman in Santa Monica who reported. She might have reported in 91. I think Gloria Allred is her lawyer. And she was, she might have been modeling for Victoria's Secret, or she thought she was going to model for Victoria's Secret, and he was just all handsy with her, and she reported him to the Santa Monica police. I think that was 91. But yeah, one of the things that somebody mentioned in the last couple of days that I thought was really fascinating is that think of all the abuse that happened before email was even a thing, that these people were doing pre-email, right? And so that's why it looks like it starts in the 90s, is because email was started in the 90s, but it was going on much longer, obviously. Maria Farmer is the one that painted it, one of the very first victims of Epstein. It's like an 18-minute video. You can skip to the painting part. Yeah, she did amazing artwork. She's still doing amazing artwork. She's phenomenal. And her little sister, Annie Farmer, is the one who's a psychologist in Austin, Texas. And she shows up to all of the legal things and all of the events. Maria doesn't, because she's fighting cancer for the third time. OMG, I just searched jerky in the search tool. It appears in like over 7,000 emails. These people are sick freaks, man. And then, they try to play it off like, oh yeah, they were just really obsessed with their beef jerky, they were doing like the high protein diet. And it's like, no, if you ate that much beef jerky, all that sodium would freaking unalive you. But yeah, these are some really sick people. Oh man, Jazz, that was such a close call. Your life could have been way different if that cab didn't intervene. Yeah, I assume that one of them probably had a gun, and they probably would try not to use it, but things happen. I mean, they were probably going to try to take our purses, is my guess. Because we looked like little yuppies. I mean, I'm sure neither one of us was carrying much cash, but you know, it's nuts. And it was such a nice neighborhood, and it was such a short walk, and we were just so silly thinking that it would be okay. And I was married. My husband was at our apartment that was on the other side of town, and it's just terrible. Yeah. I mean, we could have been badly damaged. And even if we weren't like physically assaulted or injured, I mean, that's just terrorizing. Like it was terrorizing to realize how close we were to something like that, being violated, even if it was just taking our purses. I mean, just really scary. Yes, Anna Bees, tell your son we all say hi. No, not even bacon. OMG, 7,000 emails. I've never seen beef jerky walk. Right, you just walk your beef jerky across the street, right? So you think Kylie's mom sold her? That had to be the weirdest celebration of life in history. So creeps me out. Yeah, I'm thinking that might be exactly what happened. Dang it, Nancy. You put it so simply and so frankly. Um, Sold her out. And yeah. Ugh, unbelievable. I think Sammy was set up to win the Lord of the Flies that graduation year, and the scapegoat, aka sacrifice for llama's harvest. Saturnus was dear Kylie. Yeah, yeah. The community was in on it, and the rich people there got their way. Well, yeah, I mean, it was so obvious that all those people knew, like when they're all like standing around with the doom and gloom on their faces at what was supposed to be like a search party, but they're all just standing around, and then they're in a circle holding hands. Like, what the F was that? You're not going to stand 50 or 100 people around in a circle holding hands when you need to be out searching, right? I mean, that was guilt. That was like the prayer, or the secret circle, right? The keep the secret. The community was in on it for sure. Did you see Hillary Clinton's interview? Unfreaking believable. No. Dang it, Nancy, I'm not sure what you're referring to. I did see a clip of an interview with her recently, a couple of days ago, but I'm not sure what you're referring to. I don't think this is the first of such rituals by those in that community and other communities of that ilk. Absolutely. You're talking about Kylie, Billy? Cults thrive in secrecy. Oh, okay, I thought they were gonna kidnap you. Oh no, Patricia, that didn't cross my mind. But yeah, maybe now that you say that, I mean, maybe they were thinking of snatching us to traffic us. Who the F knows? Maybe they were going to try to sell us to the Bohemian Grove that was just around the corner or something. I mean, seriously, you just never effing know, right? Trafficking. That picture of her and the bus completely breaks my heart. I think they were having certain parties and she was the entertainment. Oh dear, Nancy. Dang it, Nancy. I know the picture that you're talking about where she's it looks like she's in a bus, but she's actually in the snow thing. I forget what they call those snowmobile things. And yeah, and her stepdad is driving it, and she looks like she's trapped and she looks miserable. And yeah, I completely agree with what you said there. Truckee knows about the trafficking problems and the rug problems, and just lost a group of women passed away in an avalanche. Billy, darling, we know how easy it is to cause an avalanche. Like, it doesn't take much. Any of us could cause an avalanche easily if we tried. And that avalanche with 8 or 9 people just seemed like another effing distraction. Just more tragedies everywhere, just like setting fires everywhere to try to distract from the Trumpstein files. I mean, it's really easy to cause an avalanche accidentally or on purpose. Super, super easy. Or did they kidnap them? I don't know, y'all. Right, right. I hear you, Billy. I think I hadn't thought about that, but that's a brilliant concept. Because that, you know, if you fake someone's passing away, then you snatch the person and no one's ever going to look for them. Like Kylie, or like, I don't know, Jeffrey, allegedly. When was this avalanche? It was just like a week ago, Patricia. It was like the worst casualties in an avalanche in like 40 or 50 years or more. I mean, it's like bad avalanche incidences of lives lost. I think the highest number in one avalanche are like 3, 4, 5. I mean, you know, remember, everybody that is in an area like Tahoe knows survival skills for how to survive in an avalanche. SF Gate. Okay, another link. I'm going to go ahead and look at it. Anyone else can look at it too. The hyperlink that Billy just put in here. Mountain mourns Tahoe's deadliest avalanche. 5 days digging out of the snow and recovery. 9 victims total. Yeah. Awful. Oh, what did I do? Okay. Oh, the article was from yesterday or the day before. I didn't look at the day of the article. 8 dead. The 9th is still missing. Advised not to go into the storm. Some guides took these women into snow and they're gone. Right. Like, that's what's whack, is like, you wouldn't do that. I mean, you know, when you're in Tahoe and the bunch of snow comes down, you know, it's like powder, and avalanches are, like I said, super easy to cause accidentally or on purpose. Right by Donner Pass, y'all. Well, how absolutely sad. How convenient these gorgeous young women cannot be found. Oh, do they have pictures of them? I'll have to check that out later, because we're already, at like almost 2 hours. We should wrap up shortly here. I'm so happy to see you guys. Thanks for being here. Let's see. Even rescuers call off in bad weather. Entire area knows not to go into snowstorms. Right. Yeah, you don't mess around with that. You just don't mess around with that. I mean, like I've shared with you guys, I skied in Tahoe a lot the one year, maybe 2 years, when I was in graduate school. And yeah, I mean, there's like serious protocol. And I knew somebody who was in the snow patrol, and there were fatalities every year, and there were people trapped in avalanches every year, and there were people that were like safe in avalanches every year. But yeah. They had guides. What happened to the guides? Yeah, Patricia, we got to look into this some more, huh? For the love of God, John Podesta has a place in Truckee. in my opinion, Chester, isn't his last name different than that? Bennington, isn't it? Chester Bennington, Benninghamptons. I think it's Bennington. Real father who is going to expose them all with Chris Cornell from Soundgarden. Isn't Chris Cornell from Soundgarden? It's not Dems or reps, it's the rich FOs. Well, and like Nancy Pelosi, I mean, she was the only Democrat that said, like, let's move on past these Trumpstein files. We don't need to talk about that anymore. It's like, really, Nancy? And her and her husband were in business with Jizz and Jizz's husband. Yeah, freak. Where the guides also hit, or did the guides survive? Yeah, we got to look into it some more. Like the fires in Hawaii and Cali. 6 women from San Francisco Bay Area passed away. Just wondering, did the guides that led them there survive? Bennington, damn voice text. Oh, you're good. I'm just glad I didn't get all confused. And I see 2 more skiers passed away in Tahoe. WTF. So I'm going to touch this link that Billy just set here. All 9 Tahoe avalanche victims identified and bodies recovered. And what was the date on this one? The 23rd, so 3 days ago. Does it doesn't have pictures of them though. Billy's on top of it. Yeah. So let me look at my notes again. I don't think we've mentioned the horrible situation with the domestic violence here in Tip City. Ashley Flynn, that was unalived in her home 2 days after Valentine's Day. And Caleb Flynn, his arraignment or pre-arraignment something hearing is tomorrow. I was actually going to go to that, but I don't think I'll be able to because of the grandkid. Because it should be public. Like, I don't think they're allowing media, but it's public. Like, that's just the way those things are. And the tragedy of the 2 girls, the daughters that are like 5th and 6th grade. I think they're 9 and 11. And like, I just keep thinking about them and how like their whole lives, everything just changed overnight. So, they wake up in the morning, their extended family is there to take them. I think that their dad was put in a psychiatric hold for 72 hours and that they arrested him from the psychiatric hold. I don't think that he had freedom from the time that the police arrived, but I'm not 100% sure. But those girls probably, I would imagine, I mean, it would be great if they could go to school, to try to keep some of their routine would be ideal. But my guess is that they're not in any kind of shape to go to school. Maybe in a week or 2, it would be possible, but my guess is that they'll probably do like homeschool or something like that for the rest of the school year. But to have both of their parents essentially disappear and then to not be able to stay in their home. They also bred dogs like cute little puppy dogs. If you look at Ashley Flynn's Facebook page, it shows some pictures of the puppy dogs. Like blonde, I want to say like, I can't remember what type of dog, like a crossbreed. Like I'm thinking Labradoodle, but I'm not sure. Anyway, they had 2 dogs in the house. And so the dogs hopefully are with the girls because that will help a lot. Any kind of consistency, obviously being with family is great. Having their pets is great, but it would be ideal if they could be in their own space. I mean, to have that much change in their lives just like that, to like move into a different home, different caretakers, not doing the same daily routine. Any part of a routine that they can hold on to is essential. Um, it's just so sad. And there is a GoFundMe for those girls. I'll try to find the link and put it into the description here. And I did a short video a couple days ago from their home there in Tip City. Just going from their house. I left flowers there, and then just driving from their house to downtown, which is probably like half of a mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile. And then just it cuts off right before I start to talk about like the things that I've found out about the couple, just doing research online. So it's all like public information. So, sorry about cutting it off, or that, my memory on my camera got full. So it just like abruptly ended. And, I mean, I've talked about a lot of the basics, just like how they went to college together at Lee University in Tennessee, Cleveland, Tennessee. And then she finished school a semester before him, and she moved back to Tip City because that's where she was from. That's where her family was. And then when he finished, he caught up with her in Tip City. And then I think that they got married in 2010. Like he finished high school 2005, 2006. He was a couple of years older than her. So she probably would have finished high school 2007 or 8. Anyway, so then when they got married, somewhere around 2010, and then they went to South Carolina for a while, where he had a job as a minister, I think a youth minister of music. And then I think allegedly that there was like an affair there in South Carolina, and who knows if maybe they were going to separate or divorce, and that's why they went back to Tip City so that she could be near her family. But then they meet. This is purely speculation. And then maybe they worked out their differences, but then allegedly it might have happened again. Allegedly, there's rumors that she was pregnant, and there's rumors that an alleged mistress might have been pregnant, and I don't think either has been confirmed. So her autopsy was complete, but they're keeping it sealed, and so that makes you wonder why would they be keeping it sealed. It's just a crazy situation. It's just so sad. She was 37. In the video driving from her house, it's like right around the corner from where she worked at the Bible school, and then Tippecanoe Middle School, where she was the volleyball coach, is also right around the corner from her house. And she probably went to school there too. I don't know for sure. Anyway, let's wrap up. We are just hitting the 2-hour mark. I love you guys. Good night. Good night. is crazy close to home. All of us being trucky. I saw your video where you drove through there, and that was so nice and lovely of you. And I did another one, and it was even shorter because of the memory problem with the phone, but it wouldn't upload. I have it, but I I don't know. I got to get my phone worked out. Um, I'm back. Annabee says we used to go snowboarding in Lake Tahoe. Haven't been back since Kylie. Oh, OMG, so similar to the Tepes, and also potentially similar to the Watts. Fingers crossed that it's not, but I don't know. I don't know. It's a really bad situation. Obviously, I mean, any domestic violence is a bad situation. But yeah, the thing that's so similar to the Tepes, there's a lot of similarities. The ages of the alleged unalivers, both 39, which I think is really significant with like midlife crisis and, 40, staring down the barrel of 40 years old, basically, and panicking and then doing something ridiculously stupid. But the longitude of the Tepe's house and the Flynn's house is just like a mile and a half. Um, it blew my mind. And I've never looked up longitude and latitude on anything. I never even thought about it until with Kylie Rodney's case when people were talking about Brent Kopaka having the longitude and latitude of Bohemian Grove. And then I was like, oh, longitude and latitude, other than pirates, I never really thought about longitude, latitude. And just noticing on the map the straight line between the two, like, both are just slightly north of Interstate 70. I mean, actually, Tip City is more than slightly north of Interstate 70, but it's like the next town north of Interstate 70. And then 70 goes right through Columbus downtown, and the Tepes lived really close to downtown. So then I did the longitude and the latitude on both of their addresses, and it was insane how similar. And it just makes you wonder, like, is there some kind of, not to sound too fruity, but some kind of cosmic force, like astrologically, like that's just like the wrong longitude to be in at that point in time. I mean, it's really weird. And then the two kids sleeping in the other room, both of them, both of them with dogs. The Tepes, I think, just had the one dog, and then the Flynn's had the two dogs. And then both the mom's family were right there in the same town, so they were able to take in the kids. There's a lot of similarities. It is really odd. And then in such a close time frame, like the Tepes were the day before New Year's Eve, and then the thing with the Flynn's being 2 days after Valentine's Day. It makes you wonder too if Valentine's Day was some type of precipitous. I don't know if I'm even making up that word or not. Precipitating factor, if that just kind of instigated something. The rumors are that they were going to get a divorce, that Ashley knew about the affair. But again, it's all rumors. Like, we don't even know for sure that there was an affair, but there usually is in a situation like that. So I don't think that that's a stretch. But the thing about the text that said it's almost done, that is not true. There's no text of that, allegedly. So that was like something made up that got all, you know, um, discussed and is just bogus. So got to be careful of stuff like that. Because I mean, that would be huge. A text like that would imply prior knowledge on the other party getting the text. So that's very damning. And it's just really early in the case. So, you know, it only happened, what, 10 days ago? It was 10 days ago. It was amazing how quickly he got arrested, like as quickly as Chris Watts, and even quicker than Mike McKee in the Tepe case, because his was like 10 days, I think. Anyway, we're going to say goodnight, you guys. I was trying to tell my son about this case. He could not listen. He has 2 kids, and he can't imagine a dad trying to do that. He said, "Mom, stop. I can't hear that kind of stuff." Oh, yeah, it's horrible. But, you know, you can see videos of Caleb from YouTube, like from when he was a contestant on the American Idol, and when he was doing pastor work in South Carolina. And he just seems like a meathead. I mean, he really does. He seems very simple. I'll put it that way. A low IQ person, to quote Biggly Piggly. It's just so funny every time he says low IQ person, because that's such a low IQ person thing to say. Like, it's ironic, or poetic. DV never changes, only gets worse. Well, and what's really weird, if this was the first incidence of DV with Caleb and Ashley, that's, chances are it's not the first incident of domestic violence. Although you would think she might have been, that if there had been prior incidences, that she would have been, that she wouldn't have felt safe to be staying at the house with him. But it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. Way too early in the case. Anna Bees, that's funny. Sounds like my son when I would tell him about the drinking of the A and the rituals. He said, "Mom, don't tell anyone. They're going to send you away." Drinking of the A. Why am I not knowing what that means? Why are they all not in prison is beyond me. I know, these F-wads. Well, a lot of it is our sexist culture, you know, so much domestic violence. If women were all unaliving their husbands like this, we'd all be in jail, right? It'd be like, just lock them up because they're women, and women are bad. They unalive their husbands. I mean, it's crazy. And it wasn't that long ago that Biggly Piggly was saying that, you know, a man gets in a little argument with the wife and, you know, knocks her around a little bit. That's not really a crime. We need to decriminalize that. Like, he's the worst. He is the worst, because you know where he's going with that is like straight to caveman days. He's such an old man stuck in the 70s. I mean, he's almost 80, and he's not doing well. He's like on death's doorstep. I can't believe he could stand up for the entire 2 hours last night. I was like, nah, he had to be sitting down. But no, I looked it up. Apparently, he was standing up. So night to all. Good night, darling. Sweet dreams. God bless. Love to everybody. Adrenochrome. Thank you. That's, I was totally blanking. I was just about to sign off. I need some adrenochrome. We're not going to let that happen. All right, you guys, be well. Take care of yourselves. Drink water. Eat protein. Cuddle your little ones and puppies and kittens. And again, sorry for the lighting. I'll get it figured out now that I'm in this new spot in the room. All right. Thanks again for being here, and see you soon.